Hey everyone, welcome back to Delta Zone Trading. This is a recording of my trading session for Wednesday the 28th of May using the ANVIL model. So I'll be using the ANVIL model as a setup to anticipate a drawn liquidity. This will be helpful for students of mine who are interested on learning a bit more about this model and want to see more examples of it in the charts. The real strength of this model really comes in its ability to lead your interpretation of price. And I'll use this knowledge about the intentions of price delivery derived from a successful ANVIL model, which we'll have a look at, to inform our bias and the likely direction of intermediate price delivery. So, any mechanisms of entry and algorithmic price delivery signatures I highlight and talk about in the chart. And just a reminder, this is obviously a live recording. You can see that there is a green button on the top left corner. So any mechanisms of entry and algorithmic price delivery signatures I anticipate and forecast going forward in this video are done with an assumption about the nature of the market maker's intentions derived from a successful ANVIL model. So essentially, it is the interpretive framework that gives meaning to structure. It turns candles into decisions. So you'll see how we'll begin to highlight some of the more salient points in this price action. I note there's a potential, well, there's obviously an fair value gap above price at the moment. The anticipation is that this will be reclaimed now going into the next few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. The red vertical line I highlighted is the micro macro, talked about ICT. So that begins 10 minutes before the hour and extends to 10 minutes after the hour. So we'll see quite a bit of volatility come into the market on this next candle. So basically on the candle that represents 10 minutes closer to the hour. So we'll see a bigger range candle as this begins to expand. So I'll note there, so that gray shaded box below, prices are delivered into there and balanced, in my opinion, balanced that and should not go back into it. If it does go back into it from here, I'd be tempering my expectations, and I would not expect price to want to expand. But that doesn't happen. Price stays above that shaded area. You'll see just below that there's an immediate rebalance. So we have a lot of mechanisms for entry, and we have a lot of algorithmic price delivery signatures overlapping. We have a overall higher idea of where price is going. We have a drawn liquidity, but this drawn liquidity is retroactively validated as we begin to see some of these mechanisms for price. We anticipate price going in this direction because, as we'll see, this section of price precedes a successful ANVIL setup, and because we expect a certain level of follow through or expansion from derived after this successful model, we know with a high degree of certainty that price is reaching towards external range liquidity. So here I'll mark out the breaker, and you'll see extending the top of that breaker, how price respects that again is another signature of algorithmic price delivery, or structured around the ANVIL model in its interaction with liquidity and with liquidity engineering specifically. You can pause the video there, and I suggest you do that. Look out for the quantitative fair value gaps in there and the inverted fair value gaps. So all we're doing here is we're just waiting for price to reach up into the into that previous short-term high that we're seeing there. Just have a look in your own charts. This is the London session for the 20th of May. And go ahead and annotate that ANVIL setup like I've shown you there, and go ahead and mark up your chart noting those mechanisms of entry that I did there, and just catalog that and record those. I'm sure I should have later in the week a quite extensive lecture coming out on the on how to derive narrative and interpreting signatures of algorithmic price delivery and mechanisms of entry inside consolidation. So this will tie in with the ANVIL model and just flesh it out and give some more narrative and context on how to actually read it. I'll give some more examples of them happening. Yes, look forward to that, and leave a like and subscribe if you found it useful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.